more accomplishments, and pray that the nominee who is here before us today will be able to deliver when we finally take a decision on him. On that note, Honorable Chair, I would want to wish the nominee well in this exercise we are about to undertake. May God give you the strength and guide you even as you face this committee.
Thank you, Honorable Rankin. Without much ado, I invite the clerk to administer the oath.
I hereby administer the oath to the nominee. I, in the name
Michael Harry Afenyo-Markin,
in the name of the Almighty God,
do in the name of the Almighty God
swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. I will then open the floor for members of the committee and the subject matter committee members to ask you questions, and you provide answers to those questions. Honorable members, we shall proceed to ask the nominee questions. The ranking member would like to ask his questions out of 10. Normally, he's the second to last to do so. But because of a pressing need, he wants to take the floor first. Honorable members, I have granted that leave. So accordingly, I will give the floor to the ranking member and the minority leader to start with his questions. So, Honorable Rankin, you have the floor.
Honorable Mr. Nominee, do you know anybody by name Eko Emisa?
Mr. Chair, my name is also Eko Emisa. I was born on a Thursday and named after my great-grandmother, who was called Emisa.
On your school certificate, share with us the full name you have on it.
My O and A level certificate states the name Michael Harry Yamson.
What about your university?
My university certificate also states Michael Harry Yamson.
Now, I have given you a document, a 2-page document. Please, first, are you in possession of it? I sent it to you through the clerk.
I am in possession of it.
You are in possession?
Yes.
Now, this 2-page document, was it authored by you?
It was authored by my office.
Are you becoming aware of this document as authored by your office for the first time, or you've always been aware?
I've been aware of it for some time.
Very well. That being the case, look at page 2 of the said document. Are you there with me, please?
I am.
If you are there with me, then read the content and the experience. Read.
And the experience, it says, Administrator of District Assembly's Common Fund, Government of Ghana, February 2025 to present. Advisor to the Board, Unichem Ghana Group, 2022 to present. Ishmael Yampton and Associates, full-time, 16 years, 1 month. Also says senior partner.
Are you
Not here.
give to
To letter that for.
So, have you become aware of this subsequent letter? If so, is it today that you've become aware that you've always known that there was a subsequent letter? Because you know, you don't have act.
In February but I'll be happy to make.
Monday the 17th.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So would you want to take the leave of Mr. Chair to amend post the administration on the 17th of March? So would you then say that the February 2025 records be amended? Document
Honorable, the nominee indicated clearly peace. To correct so with all due respect. Yes.
Chairman, with respect, we are lawyers. Fortunately, the two of us here are lawyers. I believe that we will continue to learn. If the nominee had said that he was unaware of this document, that's a different matter. If the nominee had said that he had not authorized this to be done, that would have been a different matter. My little understanding of the law is that when the nominee owns up, a person owns a document, yes, he says it was prepared by his office. However, he's owned it. He says that he has become aware of it. He knows that the office, and those in the office are authorized persons, unless I should go further to ask you, Mr. Nominee, did you authorize this? In fact, he has acknowledged, accepted that indeed it was an official document. If it was done in error, I'm only urging upon him to amend this. That is all.
Honorable member, he can speak to the error, having known the document, but to say that he should be the one to do the correction. No. The fact that you become aware of a document doesn't make you the author of that particular document to be asked to correct.
Chairman, we are not before a judge, so I wouldn't pursue it as a matter of law. Let me leave that to the jury. But, honorable nominee, having told this committee that you entered that office in acting capacity on the 17th of March, would you want to instruct your office to change this record, which is in the public domain? Because as at February 2025, you were not the administrator of Common Fund.
Mr. Chair, the letter naming me as acting administrator is actually dated in February. However, due to ill health and hospitalization, I was unable to assume the role until the 17th of March. However, if it pleases the chair, I'm more than happy to instruct that the record be corrected. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable nominee, your personal email that you've provided to us, how long have you been using this email?
Mr. Chair, I actually do not remember which email address because I have a number of them.
Okay, so you have your CV with you? Because any question I ask you will be founded on the information you have given to us. I have nothing new to ask you except what you have given us. So please go through the CV you brought to us.
Okay, I have a copy of it now. Thank you.
Very well. So how long have you been using this email address?
I have used this email address for probably the last 4 or 5 years.
So we are in 2025. So like 2020.
Thereabouts, I think.
Read that email address aloud.
Mr. Chairman, it reads equo.emisa@ndc@gmail.com.
Hear that properly?
Equo.emisa.
Take your time, step by step.
It reads equo.emisa@ndc@gmail.com.
I see. echo.emisa.ndc in caps @gmail.com. Are you a member of the NDC?
Yes.
Are you a card-bearing member of the NDC?
A proud card-bearing member.
How long have you been a proud card-bearing member of the NDC?
Since the year 2008.
Have you contested any elections on the ticket of the NDC?
I have contested primary elections, but not any national election.
Which constituencies, please?
I contested in Esikmo-Dobin-Brakwa district.
In a district election or parliamentary?
Sorry, Esikmo-Dobin-Brakwa constituency.
In the year 2019,
Mr. Chair.
Okay. You remember the results?
Vaguely, yes. Not the absolute numbers, but the percentages, yes.
Okay, so share with us.
I garnered 15% of the vote. My elder brother, Honorable Alaji Kobnagansa, I believe, garnered 80% of the vote.
And you have since not challenged him again?
No, Mr. Chair. I actually campaigned for him in 2020.
That's
and
all
in
right. I
2024.
don't want to get into your NDC politics. That's all right. That's all right. Now, you are also the proud son of the respected Afenyo-Markin, correct?
Yes, please, Mr. Chair.
Going through your CV, you seem to have done a lot for yourself. Somebody will say you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. What do you say to that?
Mr. Chair, I am grateful for the advantages that circumstances have given unto me, but I have been brought up by two very strict parents, and I think in our family we have many a story to tell about how privilege should not be misunderstood.
Now, you've stated your hometown to be Cape Coast. I want you to bring clarity to this for me. Is it your mom who comes from Cape Coast or your dad?
My mom is the one who hails from Cape Coast.
Daddy?
He hails from Bremen, Kontinasi.
Bremen. Okay.
Kontinasi.
So, I would do some two exercises with you from both places. Where exactly in Cape Coast does mommy come from, though?
Our family house is located on J.P. Brown Street, Kawandopado.
You've done so well for yourself internationally. Your dad has made a great name in the national space, an entrepreneur working in the private sector, consulting for private sector lately, talking about economic dialogue, how we should transform the economy, let the private sector play a critical role. Now, I'm interested in social responsibility back home. Can you share with me any social intervention projects that can attributed to you in your father's homeland in Bremen?
Mr. Chair, currently in our hometown, through efforts lobbying your former colleague, the Minister for Roads, we have our town roads being rehabilitated.
You mean referring to Asensu Boachi or Honorable Amwakwata?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Go on.
So our town roads are being rehabilitated. I believe they are probably 95% done.
Town roads in Bremen?
Yes.
Oh, very well.
I've also been able to sponsor a few children to go to school, one of whom is now at Gimpa Law School.
Now, you've only listed two things. One intervention is public intervention. You lobbied the MPP government, the Roads and Highways Minister, and the MPP administration, Honorable Amwakwata, to fix your town roads, which he did, 95%. I mean, this is a decent acknowledgement of how bipartisan MPP administration was and how you can reach out to the other side. So though you are an NDC, you reach out to the other side and you get a fair hearing. I want to know from you, the Afenyo-Markin family. If I enter Bremane Sikuma, I want to know what the Afenyo-Markin name is doing for the community. Is there any project in the name of the family? Those are the social interventions I'm referring to, in the name of the family.
Mr. Chair, and these I cannot attribute to myself, but when electricity was first brought to our hometown, It was my father then who single-handedly paid for the poles and the cables that were extended from, I can't remember the name of the town. I think it's Inkum, that brought electricity to our town. He also single-handedly funded the extension of water to our town. And over the years, he has, as I am following in his footsteps, supported several young people to acquire higher education as well. So I guess our investments have been in social infrastructure and in the people. But in terms of buildings, no.
I mean, honored admissions where you made intervention and all that, these are for the Ishmael Yamson as a person, and you were very clear. You have a rich background, successes. Today, you have the chiefs who are behind you, and they come with a certain expectation. You acknowledge that there is no infrastructure standing in your name for your community in Bremen. None from that as well. You may want to consider in future. Now, what about your maternal home, Cape Coast? Is there any single social intervention project that the people of Cape Coast can today say, Harry, born 1973, done so much for himself, upon all the successes in life, he came to provide for those at the lowest ebb of fortune's wheel. Cape Coast is a very poor community. Is there anything you've done in mother's homeland?
Not in my own name, no, thank you.
But in whose name, please?
In my grandmother's name.
Can you share?
My grandmother was for many years a devoted Catholic. And when she passed, she had been living with us for several years. But one of her last wishes was to see that we would renovate her parish in Ola. And so a year after she passed, my siblings and I indeed did honor her wishes and fund the rehabilitation of certain parts of the parish as was requested at the time.
So that is all about it?
Yes.
Very well. Let me also ask you this very important question. Did you do your national service?
No, Mr. Chair.
You know, in your time, after A-level, you do national service for 1 year. And then after university, you also do national service. Today, you are here to administer a public fund, and you are telling the Ghanaian people you never did your national service. You went to Leeds, came back. Unilever gave you a lot of opportunities. All these years, you have not done your national service. I see. I have not cited your tax exemption certificate yet. I've not cited your tax exemption certificate yet. Can you share with us if you have your tax exemption certificate? Oh, sorry for the wrong use of the word. I said tax exemption, tax clearance. I apologize. Tax clearance certificate. Do you have it with you?
Yes, Mr. Chair, a copy has been.
Check the name on it, because the one I have is not the one with your name. So I don't have yours with me. What I have is different. So check, maybe I have a different one. Read the name on that tax clearance certificate.
The name on it says Michael Harry Emisa Yamson.
Is that also Michael Harry Yamson? Is it one and the same person?
Yes. Mr. Chair, if I may clarify, for most of my life, I used Michael Harry Yamson. But at the time, when we were registering for the national identification document, I elected to put the full name as it appeared on my birth certificate, which is Michael Harry Emisa Yamson.
The birth certificate you are referring to, was it a birth certificate that you later acquired, or it was a birth certificate that you acquired before going to school?
It is the original birth certificate, Mr. Chair.
Honorable nominee, pay attention to my questions and remind yourself of answers you are also giving. I'll repeat. This birth certificate you are referring to, was it a birth certificate you acquired after completing O-level, A-level, and university, or it was a birth certificate you acquired prior to going to do your O-level, A-level, and your uni degree? Family members in Central Region say, Afenyo-Markin Central Region na grilling na ye dam. Ahanu mo ye personal. One kasa wasama atro no ena yeze kan wasam. Nti infantefo a wotim family members in Central Region say Afenyo-Markin Central Region na grilling na ye dam. Ahanu mo ye personal. One kasa wasama atro no ena yeze kan wasam. Nti infantefo a wotim wontim ase. In other words, I'm only relying on his own document to ask my questions. So now,
Your name is not Afenyo.
I said the Fantis will say Afenyo, but my daddies will say Afenyo. That's the proper and law pronunciation. My uncles in Winneba will say Afenyo-Markin, but my daddies in Anlo, Chairman Nyakonokwe, will say Afenyo. Chairman is enough.
Mr. Chair.
By the way, so clarity, all right? My name is Alexander Kwamena Afenyo-Markin. All my certificates, I have the Alexander Afenyo-Markin without Kwamena. We all have it. So I want you to clarify. I don't use a Kwamena. I use it sometimes. I don't use it all the time. So I want to ask you, on your certificate, which names do you have on your certificate?
On all my certificates, my name is Michael Harry Yamson. As I explained, when I was applying for my...
Let's proceed. So now that you have a national ID, Ghana card, and this Ghana card has Michael Ishmael Emisa Yamson.
Michael Harry Emisa Yamson.
Sorry. Your Ghana card has Michael Harry Emisa Yamson. The tax man, GRA, knows you also as Michael Harry Emisa Yamson.
That is correct.
Your certificates know you as Michael Harry Yamson. The president knows you to be Michael Harry Yamson. He doesn't know your Emisa. Would you use the law to regularize this? You've already done it.
I have already done so.
So would you want to inform Mr. President that the old name has been changed and that the records at the presidency should be corrected, and for that matter, Parliament? Because we cannot know you and call you Michael Harry Yamson if your actual updated document, legally certified, is Michael Harry Emisa Yamson, as known by GRA. What's your advice?
Yes.
Tell us what your pleasure is now.
My pleasure would be to notify the president's records.
But you have been in possession of this notice of your appointment all these weeks. Chairman, can we proceed with the, or you grant leave? Because the name, these are legal matters, and you are a lawyer. Would you want to grant leave so that that ratification and rectification can be done later? Otherwise, I do not think that we can proceed. It's my suggestion to you, sir.
Honourable Member, let's proceed. The value is the same. He's one and the same person. However, he has indicated that he would communicate the addition to the president.
Chairman, our law students and our seniors and our colleagues at the bar, I'm sure, are watching us, and the judges are watching us. I know you said it on a lighter note, but the value is not the same. In law, the value is not the same. But, I mean, since he's taking notes to get it sorted out, that's fair enough. Now, you are coming from the private sector. Do you think that as a country, we often get social intervention programs aimed at getting some investment into the economy, end up becoming consumption? Do you think so?
Please, could you clarify that question?
All right. So we introduce some social intervention programs to empower our people to become economically
More viable.
strong, do their businesses and all. These are supposed to be paid back to the states for others to also benefit. Oftentimes, these monies go. They don't come back. So it becomes what we call consumption. You are the economist. I'm not one. So it's not an investment. Are you concerned about this? And if you are, what would be your proposal? And I say this because recently, Daddy expressed a worry in the Economic Forum, which the minority could not secure an invitation to participate. In fact, I as a leader was never invited. No letter came to the caucus. We were not invited. But that's a different matter. The old man expressed concern and even suggested that state-owned enterprises must move to the private sector so that they become profitable. Against this background, what is your suggestion to this government regarding social intervention programs for economic empowerment?
Mr. Chair, I want to ask for some clarity from you. Since my role does not make me a policy advisor to the President or the Cabinet, I report to Parliament. So am I advising Parliament here or the Presidency?
Oh, a general opinion. You are a private sector person, so not as an advisor, but we hear it's a public discourse. This engagement is to express views on national issues.
Okay.
The question is just soliciting for your opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Where we have struggled is that we often introduce social interventions without, shall I say, certainty about how we, from our own resources, will be able to cover. And so when the donor support or whatever help dries out, we are forced to carry on these programs essentially by printing money, and that is unsustainable. So my view is that by all means let us do good, because as the Bible says, the poor will always be among us. But we must make sure that we have adequate resources to fund those programs fully.
Are you a Catholic?
I was baptized a Catholic, but I am now a member of the Methodist Church of Ghana.
At what point did you become a Methodist? The task clearance.
Correct.
So your accountant says that your chargeable income monthly is 11,000 cedis. Sure of what your accountant did, or you would want to further, go through this with your accountant?
No, I don't need to.
So he declared faithfully that you earn 11,000 a month.
He declared faithfully.
And that is all your income. Yes, of course. That is all your chargeable income. Are you sure your accountant did what he was supposed to do correctly? Because I have documents here about other income So I do not want it to be like I'm splashing. So I may want to give you an opportunity. Sometime when we are in a hurry, to get the certificate, because I note that because we were coming for vetting, he hurriedly put something together. Would you want to cross-check with him to ensure that he gets all the facts regarding your tax obligation? Maybe later on, so that you amend your records, or you insist on that, on what is provided.
I'm happy to cross-check with you.
Very well. Chairman, that will be all for the nominee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Togbi Osahin Alexander Kwamena Afenyo-Markin. We'll then proceed to take questions from the subject matter committee members, starting from Alexander Akwesi-Akwa. You have the floor. You are entitled to 3 questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Nominee. In the last budget, which is still before Parliament, there was a proposal to send about 80% of the DACF to MMDAs. How feasible is this? And do you agree to this proposal?
You mean the last budget or the current budget?
No, the current budget, which is still before Parliament, yeah. 2025, the big push budget.
Mr. Chair, in terms of feasibility, as a fund, it is entirely feasible. And as to whether I agree with it, I'm here as a nominee of the President. I respond to the President's policy directives. And I am clear about what the President is trying to achieve. And my task now is to give effect to that policy and then go further to ensure that the appropriate monitoring, the appropriate validation of expenditure in partnership with my brother, the Minister for Local Government, happens so that there is no misuse. I think the issue about whether I agree is born out of a concern as to whether there might be misuse of those funds. But I would suggest that between the Local Government Ministry and the District Assembly's Common Fund, we have enough mechanisms to ensure that there is no misuse.
Okay, so as a follow-up, I asked about the feasibility of it because as a member of Parliament, I am aware that there are some programs and activities that are currently ongoing. And so if the new policy direction is to shift about 80% of the common fund to the assemblies, how do we cater for these programs that are currently going on?
So, Mr. Chair, what I would say, though, is that the objective as stated by the President through the Finance Minister at this point in time remains the policy objective of the Executive. My task is to prepare a formula, to propose it to to the Parliament of Ghana. And the Parliament of Ghana will have every right to accept it, to amend it, or reject it. I will act upon the final instruction that comes from this House. So I will present the policy objectives of the President, and I will leave it to your good selves to advise me on how to make amendments so that the final formula respects the policy objectives, but also addresses any concerns or advice that this House may have. I am aware that we do pay members of Parliament, we do require of members of Parliament a monitoring role, and so it will be very important to respect what your thoughts are also on how these things might be effected. Thank you.
Okay, another follow-up on that one. I'm sure so far you've had, you're privy to. Yes, sir.
Still to one follow-up question. So ask another question.
I will oblige. Thank you so much. My second question has to do with another policy shift. The budget also proposed and allocated about 100 million Ghana cedis to be used as payments to assembly members. I want to ask your thoughts about that. How do you marry this proposal with Article 250, Clause 2, which requires the district assemblies to be in charge of emoluments and all payments to their members? Do you see a conflict there?
Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I believe that this matter does not in any way fall within the purview of my work as administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund. And therefore, I would beg your permission not to wade into an area where I have no expertise.
A follow-up, Mr. Chair. Well, let me rephrase my question. Don't you think this will reduce the motivation of MMDAs and their IGFs? Because I'm sure in the Constitution, the fact that the assemblies are supposed to determine how much they pay to their members will motivate them to increase their IGF, their collections.
Mr. Chair, it is my understanding that this should have, at best, a neutral effect, because the MMDA's share of the common fund actually rises as they increase their internally generated funds. Therefore, irrespective of how much help or grants are received from my office or the central government, it is still in their best interest to pursue IGF. And so I don't think that any such support should dampen the efforts of any MMDA to grow their IGF. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, last question. How do you intend improving on the transparency and the activities of the District Assembly's Common Fund?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The District Assembly's Common Fund has existed since 1994. In my short time at the fund, one of the things that I believe will help us is to improve our own technological capacity, to help us better understand how we're spending, the effectiveness of how we're spending, and the impactfulness of the money that we spend. I also feel that it is important that we make our information more publicly available. First of all, to enable the district assemblies themselves to also fulfill their mandate of the annual town halls. If we make our information available to all members of the public, then the assemblies can also go back and hold their town halls and then explain what benefits citizens can expect from the transfers that they receive from the fund. So I think these two steps will help quite a bit. As I spend more time and as my directors give me further briefing, I am sure that beyond publicizing our information and improving our technological capacity, there'll be other things that we can do to improve the transparency of our work. But these two things, I think, are most critical.
Mr. Chairman, last follow-up. In the preparation of the formula, who are some of the key players that you intend to consult?
Mr. Chair, my job is to prepare the formula for Parliament. And so my first consultation will be with the leadership, also with the local government committee to which I'm responsible for presenting the draft formula. I will also have to engage with the MMDAs as much as possible. I also, because I'm in a way part of the executive, also consult with my brother, the Minister for Local Government, my brother, the Minister for Finance, and the Chief of Staff.
You are done.
Sir, if you oblige me one more.
Very well. I will give the floor to Honorable John Dako.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, as the administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund, are you accountable to Parliament or to the Minister? And what, in your view, do you think this accountability, whether Parliament or Minister, is going to play on your activities?
Mr. Chair, my accountability is wholly to this Parliament. It is to this Parliament that I present my draft formula. It is from this Parliament that I secure approval of the formula. It is to this Parliament that I will render my annual accounts if you give me the nod to assume office. And I think it's only in my fourth area of responsibility, according to the Constitution, that says that I may carry out any other duties as the President may decide. So 75% of my role is entirely to this House. The President may from time to time ask me to do something.
Yeah, but by way of follow-up, so you don't think that you are in any way accountable to the Minister in charge of local government?
I believe by the Local Government Act, I do have a relationship with the Minister for Local Government. He presents our budget to Parliament, and to that extent, I am accountable to him to justify my budget and equip him to lay it before Parliament. In respect of the day-to-day activities at the DACF, I believe we are like twin brothers. He's the senior twin brother. But everything has to be done in consultation with him.
Okay. Looking at your CV, I get the impression that you don't have any experience in the local governance sector of our country. Everything you've had or you've done is in the private sector. So with this handicap that you have, how do you intend to make the DACF better to achieve its objective, which mainly, I guess, is to distribute funds? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the first two occupants of this office were also not local governance experts. My immediate predecessor, to a large degree, is. But I would say that fresh blood is good for every organization. I have tremendous experience. I've managed budgets 3 times the size of this fund and done so successfully. I have a wonderful team at the DACF. The ministry, my brother, the minister, assures me of his support. And so I'm extremely confident that in addition to all of this, with the guidance of the House, there is no way I will fail the DACF. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I have a follow-up.
Honorable member, let me give the opportunity to the questioner to see whether he has a follow-up. Then I can give you the floor. Do you have a follow-up?
Yes, okay, so if we'll follow up.
You don't have the follow-up.
I can give to my senior.
Very well, very well.
No, I'm not done. After that, I can come back to my...
Very well, then you come back to your last question.
But Chairman, by right, he has a follow-up. And after he asks his follow-up, by right, I can also ask a follow-up. So if he doesn't have a follow-up, that's okay.
That is why the practice is that if a member asks a question and he has a follow-up, we give the member the opportunity to exhaust so that if the leadership has a follow-up on the question asked by the member, it is then that you can come in. That is the point that I'm making. So I'm trying to find out from John Darko whether he has a follow-up on the nominee's experience, question that he asked. But if not, I will then give you the floor.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Nominee, in your answer to Honorable John Darko's question, you said you have managed a fund that is 3 times the current fund, referring to DACF. Is that what you said?
No, I said I have managed funds, not a fund.
You have managed funds?
Yes.
So can you share with us what funds and what you mean exactly by 3 times the size of DACF?
Well, in my last role,
Please.
right.
You can answer the question without necessarily disclosing any corporate secret.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, in the private sector, we don't manage, unless you're a fund manager. I worked in FMCG and telecoms. So we manage budgets. In one of my roles, I was responsible for
Please go ahead.
So in one of my roles, I was responsible for managing a budget that amounted to €1.5 billion, which in today's terms is about 18 billion cedis. So.
Thank you very much. Honorable John Darko, your last question.